Good evening, this is Dan Foster, and I want to show you guys today how I do air layering. And I know air layering is not new for many of you guys. It's nothing too crazy and exciting, but I thought it might be a good opportunity here at this time of year to do a little video on how I've done air layering in the past and how I do it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out what kind of container you want to use, and for this demonstration I'm going to show you guys several different containers that I use. I start with a 4-inch pot. So I've got these 4-inch pots. These are Dillon pots. They've got a hole on the bottom, so I put the hole on the bottom. I used a hole saw, basically a drill with a hole saw, and cut it in there. Now you got to go slow at first because you'll crack the pot if you go crazy on it. So that's a good container to use. I also use these trade gallons. With the trade gallons, they've got holes in them already, but they're kind of tiny, so you can cut those however you want. You can even go up the side and slip a branch into it like that if you want. I've got these containers with lids. You could probably use like a cottage cheese container. Same idea. You got the hole on the bottom, you got the lid with a little crack on the top, and you slip the branch in there like that, and put the lid on top, and then cover it up. So that'll work. Last year I bought these little Easter egg containers off Amazon, and I think these are like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. But I used a little hole saw. I cut the hole in there so that the container could still close, but it could hold some soil. And sometimes that's a good way to get an air layer on a small branch that you're trying to air layer. So, and then a little bigger globe. These are like Christmas tree ornaments. Same thing. I used a hole saw to cut a little hole in there, and then you can fill it with soil and pop it together. Now they sell globes that are made for air layering, but I found them to be pretty expensive. So I like to try to use what I have on hand and not buy that stuff for like $10 a container or something crazy like that. Here's these Stewie and Sons tree pots. This is I believe a 3x9, and it's got a bigger hole on it than some of the other tree pots. You can get the tree pots in different designs, but I find that this big hole makes it easy to set those air layers. So those are the type of containers that you can use, and really the sky's the limit. Any container that you can find will work. Bamboo. I find it good to strap that pot and stick it in the ground. It provides some stability. So bamboo is good to have on hand. I like to use a grafting knife and rubbing alcohol, along with some dip and grow and some cotton swabs. And I'll show you how I use all that later. I've got some pre-moistened soil here. This is a pretty good greenhouse mix. You can use sphagnum moss, you can use coir, you can use a lot of different things. But I'll just use my normal greenhouse mix that I use in planting all my pots. That way when I go to plant that air layer later, I'm not mixing two different soils and worrying about compatibility and things like that. It makes it a little bit easier. I got some masking tape and some shipping tape. I'll use that just to make that air layer a little bit more stable. And then finally, I think it's pretty important, is a journal. And I write all my my air layers in the journal, because I want to know at what time of year is the best time to set air layers. So last year, what I found based on my documentation and writing things down is air layers that are set in late June and July, late June and early July, only take about 3 to 4 weeks. But if you wait and set your air layers in mid-July to late July, they seem to take a little bit longer. So mid-July here right now, so we're getting to the tail end of when I would set an air layer. It just takes a little bit longer, and you're going to be removing those layer layers, and you're not going to have any time for that air layer to root into your soil. So yeah, so let's show you guys how I do my air layers. Alright, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to do this Christmas tree ornament. And so that's kind of where I'm going to put it. This is Harry's Crete, and so apologize for all the traffic driving by. Now, what I have here is I have lignified wood. So if it was green wood, I might not remove the bark, but because it's lignified, I like to remove the bark. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my grafting knife and go around in a circle twice in parallel stripes. And then what I want to do is I'm going to remove the bark. Now sometimes people will tell you don't need to do that, which it'll still root if you don't. I think it does it a little bit faster if you do. So peel that bark away. You don't have to peel it all away. What we'd want to do is we want to just disrupt the cambium flow. Alright, so I've got my soil here. I'm going to fill one side of the globe. The soil is moist, but it's not soaking wet, but it's not dry either. It's got a good amount of moisture in there. Okay. Now, I'm going to get the aluminum foil ready. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to place the globe so that the cambium layer that's disturbed is right in the middle, right? And I'm going to put it together. And these bulbs, I don't know, they don't like to stick the greatest. I'm going to grab some tape. I swear, I go to take the video and I got Harleys and semis driving by. Alright, so that's taped up, somewhat secure. What do I do, flip that around or something? Oh yeah, flip it around. Let's put a little bit more tape on it, I don't want that falling off. Alright. Okay, now that's set in place. What I'm going to do is, let's write the date on there. 7/13? 13th, right? Mm-hmm. That way I know when I set it. Should be ready probably mid-August, if I had to guess. Put this guy around it. That's a big air layer. I want it to be nice and secure. I don't want it moving around a lot. I'm taping it a little bit up here because I feel like that air layer is moving up and down, and I don't want that. I want it to be secure. I don't want it to move around a lot. Let's see. I don't know if I should. Yeah, you know what? I might do that too. This might be overkill, but you never know what kind of storms we're gonna get here in the next month. I don't want these things moving around, going crazy. Okay. There's always a little bit of an art putting these things on. You know, no two are the same, it seems like. There, that's good. That's stable. That's going to stop that globe from moving around at all. I like that. All right. Okay, so that's air layer number 1 with the Christmas ornament on Harry's Crete. Thanks. Okay, so the next air layer that we're going to do is on this Black Tuscan. Black Tuscan is one of my favorite varieties. And we're going to do the Easter egg on this one. And I found a little branch here that I think will work. And I placed it to make sure that it fit good first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that blade off with some alcohol. Alright, now I'm going to take that cambium layer off again, just like I did on Harry's Crete. And get right up in there and show that. Now, on the last one, you'll notice I forgot the Dip and Grow. This time I'm going to use the Dip and Grow, and just to see, do you really need it? I don't think you do. Again, I think it'll probably help, but do you need it? I don't know. I could do another one and not remove the cambium at all. I've done that before. It works. I think it just takes a little bit longer. There. Got a nice girdle around that. Okay. Now I'm going to take the little Easter egg, fill it with soil on both sides. And here we go. I'm going to try to line that baby up. The way I did the hole just kind of snaps into place. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to use a little tape again. I want to stop that thing from coming apart and moving around a bunch. Let's move around. Oh, I forgot the Dip and Grow. Start over again. No, you can't start over again. Yeah, we'll start over again. See, I always forget things. Let's go ahead and... See how I forgot the Dip and Grow the first time? It's pretty easy. Let's do a little Dip and Grow. Basically, we're just going to use a little cotton swab. And we'll put a little bit around there. Get it all nice and moist. There. No harm done. Again, we'll snap that in place. Perfect, easy, no harm done. I got the Dip and Grow on there. I got the tape on the other side, which makes it easier to tape this side. So see, it was all meant to be. All right, so good. Got the air layer set. Let's grab some aluminum foil. Alright. And I'm just going to wrap it up. Now this is such a small one. I like these little Easter egg air layers. They don't really move around that much, but what do you think? Should we tape that? What the heck? We'll tape it. I'll do a follow-up video and when I remove these and show you when I remove them, what do they look like, how do I plant them. This little branch really wasn't going to do much anyway, so you know, it's really not destroying the canopy at all. It's a healthy cutting. What I'm going to do also, just so that I can focus the energy on that air layer, is I'm going to take these little figlets off. Just get rid of them. Hey, you could keep them. I'm not a big fan of defigging things, but hey, if I'm going to do this air layer, I want all that energy to go into forming those roots, not forming figs. So yeah, so that's Black Tuscan. That's a little air layer. That'll go into a 4-inch pot in about a month if I had to guess. So, okay, so that's 2 air layers out of 6. So to be continued, we'll do part 2. We'll do the other 4 air layers, and then we'll be done. Thank you.